All right, welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. All right, Jimmy Carter passed away recently. Joe Biden announced that flags would be flown at half-staff for 30 days, which will, from the date of his death, which would take it to January 28th, like a full week past the scheduled inauguration of the 47th president. This aligns with what is normally done for fallen presidents, according to Veteran Affairs. So, symbolically, it means that should Donald Trump be inaugurated on January 20th, it will be under the flags of being at half-mast. Mourning our dead. So, I want to look at some of the readers have, according to the comments that I've seen, some of the readers have looked at Jimmy Carter's passing along with, which I think he's supposed to be buried on the 9th, sort of resetting the news cycle. And I want to look at kind of the spiritual passing of Jimmy Carter, how it relates to current political times that we've got going on in the U.S. I have no idea where this is going to go. This will be for entertainment purposes only. Let's see what insights we can gather. Jimmy Carter's passings, the spiritual relation between that and current U.S. politics. Ace of Wands. It's like a call of action. It's a new opportunity that's going to be brought up. Interesting, because as you celebrate the man's accomplishments, there's a new opportunity for a path forward. Oftentimes, I'm going to pause just for a second here. Oftentimes, it's during periods of great tragedy that the American people come together. It's funny how that's not just Americans, it's humans in general. My first real experience of that was the Loma Prieta earthquake in 1989, and watching complete strangers form bucket brigades, or at least as I read in the newspaper, forming bucket brigades in the Marina District to help put out fires because the water pressure was gone. We could say the same thing for how Americans came together after the 9/11 attacks. It's during these times that people come together, and maybe the passing of Jimmy Carter is just another way to bring people together. You know, weddings and funerals, if you will, for the more mundane everyday life type of things is what brings family, friends, and folks together for a common event. So we have a strong opportunity crossed with the Knight of Swords, moving quickly. Things moving quickly, almost recklessly, but with this new opportunity coming up here. Oh dear. And then we've got the Nine of Swords. The Seven of Swords, excuse me. The thieving. Now, Jimmy Carter did not go out necessarily like a thief in the night. He lived to be 100 years old, so his life wasn't stolen from him. But it's kind of like looking at the loss, things that were taken from you too early. Funerals sometimes people die too young, and you feel like they've had their life stolen from them. But that's not going to be the case here. Jimmy Carter was pretty outspoken with regards to Trump. He basically said the man was an illegitimate president. When he was the 45th president of the United States. And that might just get reminded that he was illegitimate then. He's likely illegitimate now. The other thing that might happen is, especially as I focus in around his funeral of the 9th, it might be right after that funeral, if there's going to be an announcement of election interference, it happens then. I would have thought they would have done it before the votes are counted in Congress, assuming that Congress can even be seated. I just read another thing. Thomas Massie was saying he doesn't think that Johnson has the votes to be the Speaker of the House, and that he'll cost the Republicans the House in 2026 if Johnson's left in there. But that's not what. There's a lot going on in Washington, D.C. In the past, integrity. taking the good with the bad. And Jimmy Carter's presidency, he was a good man who was president during a really lousy time. Double-digit inflation, double-digit unemployment. Neither of the things, he did neither of those things. That is something that, because that's a delay from the previous administration, which would have been the Nixon administration, and later the Gerald Ford administration. But Jimmy Carter was a man of integrity and, a man of action. He saw a cause and he went forward with it. Current situation is judgment. How funny! You get to compare Jimmy Carter with basically President-elect Donald Trump, and how the American voting electorate has changed their values and their actions over the last 50 years or so. 48 years, I guess, if you really want to get down to the mathematics of it. But, again, if there is an announcement being made about theft, it's being announced right around that time that Carter is buried. Overarching energy is the Queen of Swords. Very cut and dry, black and white. You did what you did. If you're going to live by the sword, you're going to die by the sword. So if you're going to steal, you're going to get caught. Eventually, you're going to get caught. You steal too much, you're going to get caught. And if you get caught, you got to pay the price. For Jimmy Carter, again, it's the actions he took, before the presidency, during the presidency, after the presidency. They're always based in integrity. He was trying to answer the call that his religion and his spiritual beliefs would call as his doctrine. The lesson to be learned, the Eight of Cups. How interesting. Jimmy Carter is going away. If there's election interference being announced, about the integrity being compromised, being announced, and there has to be investigations, this could be the end of the Trump administration too, before it even really gets started. How interesting. Outcome, Two of Swords, decision times. Crossroads. The United States is going to be at a crossroads. You're losing President Carter, and you could be losing Donald Trump too. Gaining or losing Donald Trump. Which course does the United States take? If there was a theft in the election, what does your integrity say that you do? Do you only take the good? Do you take the good with the bad? But some tough decisions are going to be made here. Interesting. Interesting reading. Okay, so it looks like the drama's not done. What would Jimmy Carter have the U.S. do if he were in Joe Biden's shoes? What would Jimmy Carter do in this situation? You've had a former president, let's call him a beloved former president, having his funeral soon after the electoral votes are counted, but before the inauguration. Flags are at half-staff. If Jimmy Carter was the current president like Biden is now, what would Jimmy Carter do in Biden's situation? Or how would he, maybe more to the point, how would he advise Joe Biden on what to do next for Carter? Victory. Winners. Lead. Leaders need to lead. the magician, the manifestation, the creation, the hiding the illusion. Six of coins, the charity. And the King of Swords, making tough decisions. Contracts and agreements. Two of Cups. It really depends on how you look on this. When in a period when people need to unite, they need leaders, compassionate leaders who represent not only the haves but the have-nots. It's kind of an art to do this, and it requires some tough decisions to be made. Now, it's a free will choice. I think what he would just, again, I think his guidance to Biden would be, you got to lead. And, sometimes, especially the King of Swords here, sometimes leading is bringing people together over a common enemy, or it's bringing, what's best for the country type of thing. This is not an easy choice for Joe. Hello, Nico. How are you doing? I know you're low. Come here. Let me give you your black cat fix here with Nico. And then over on the chair, over on the side here, Ella's asleep. So I got both cats in here with me. Are you feeling okay? That was a big old burp. You're gonna throw up over there. In case you're wondering where Ella is, she's asleep there. Hello, girlie. Okay, so you got your cat fix here. Leaders need to lead. They need to show compassion. But does that mean that if there was shenanigans in it, what's best for the United States? Is it just to let things roll and then fix it when nobody's looking? Or is it better to go out there and say, hey, the winner won, and we're going to look into this, but some people aren't going to like the results on it, but fair is fair. Cheating is cheating. And that's just the way it is. We don't reward cheaters. I have no doubt. Well, I guess I have doubts. I have no doubt that Jimmy Carter would do the right thing on this one. And really what the balance is, and it's been a free will balance this whole time, of what's best for the country. Is it best for the country to let somebody cheat and allow them to serve out, get the rewards for their cheating, while maybe you fix the problem behind closed doors so nobody knows about this weakness? Or is it better to share? If Trump's job is to share everything that's wrong with the government, expose all the holes in the lifeboat, then I guess maybe our first lesson is, if there's holes in our voting systems and they involve Trump, he wants to expose all the deficiencies, maybe that should be exposed too. Just saying. All right, last message. Jimmy Carter, what message do you have for the people of the United States as we gear up for January 2025 and all the energy that is going to be present? For Carter, what message does Jimmy Carter have for us? Look at things in a different light. Maybe things aren't always as they appear, and what seems crazy may be rational, and what seems rational may be crazy. Looking at the legacy of the United States, but also looking how the money has corrupted and changed this country. But just because things right now are just batshit crazy doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. There's a lot of money that influences this. But we can take action We can take action on things. We can let money rule us. We can let kings rule us. Is that what you want? The choice is, it's kind of like the choice is yours. What you choose to believe, the actions you take will show that. Do you want to go back to kings? Do you want to go to an oligarchy? And again, the choice is yours. It's good. Life is going to move forward. The United States is going to move forward. How do you want to move forward? I'd like to give you a more insightful, positive, uplifting reading, but I'm not quite sure where to go with that. We're just in for some crazy times, folks. We're not. January is going to be crazy, but you control your actions, you control your behaviors, you control your values, and what's happening outside of us, we can't control it. It's not part of our free will choices. We can send energy and support it, I guess, but the decision makers, that's a much smaller group of people, and you and I are not them. You just kind of got to get used to it, that it's a group project, and we're not responsible for this part of the group project, but we're impacted by it. I don't know what else to throw at you. I'll leave it here at this point. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you do find it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.